History of the World Continued. Part 11. 1838 AD. Chopin begins his liaison with George Sand. Richard Cobden establishes the Anti-Corn Law League. The People's Charter is published. Grace Darling assists in the rescue from the wreck of the Forfarshire. The First Afghan War begins. The British capture Kabul and imprison the Emir Dost Muhammad. The Boers defeat the Zulus at Blood River. 1839 AD. The Rebecca riots against the Poor Law Amendment Act take place in Wales. Rioters disguise themselves as women. Goodyear discovers how to vulcanize rubber. Argentina and Uruguay go to war. The Ottomans invade Syria, but are defeated by Ibrahim Pasha at Nasib. The Treaty of London guarantees Belgian independence and neutrality. Sultan Mahmud II is poisoned and succeeded by his son Abdul-Majid. Chinese attempts to stop the importation of opium lead to the Opium War with Britain. Frederick VI of Denmark dies and is succeeded by his nephew Christian VII. Bradshaw's provides first railway timetables. 1840 AD. The Maoris cede sovereignty of New Zealand to England by the Treaty of Waitangi. Rowland Hill introduces the penny post. Frederick William III of Prussia dies and is succeeded by his son Frederick William IV. Britain, Austria, Prussia and Russia ally against Muhammad Ali of Egypt by the Treaty of London. After Beirut and Acre are captured, Muhammad agrees to return Syria to Ottoman rule. Lower and Upper Canada are united under a single legislator. Rafael Carrera becomes dictator of Guatemala. Louis Napoleon Bonaparte is imprisoned at Ham after another attempt to ferment revolt fails. William I of Holland abdicates and is succeeded by his son William II. 1841 AD. Hong Kong is taken by the British. William Harrison dies after catching cold, giving his inaugural address as US President, and is succeeded by John Tyler. Thomas Cook arranges his first excursion to a temperance meeting. The Straits Convention closes the Bosporus to warships. Carlos Lopez becomes president of Paraguay. The first issue of Punch is published. 1842 AD. Crawford W. Long performs the first operation under anesthesia. British troops in Afghanistan are massacred. The second Chartist petition is rejected. Civil war erupts in Uruguay. The Webster-Ashburton Treaty defines the US-Canadian border. The Treaty of Nanking ends the Opium War. Hong Kong is ceded to Britain. Marx meets Engels. Britain withdraws from Afghanistan. launches the Great Britain. Sind is conquered by General Charles Napier. Hawaii becomes independent with recognition from France and Britain. 1844 AD. George Williams founds the YMCA. Karl XIV of Sweden dies and is succeeded by his son Oscar I. The Factory Act fixes maximum workdays of 6.5 hours for children, 12 hours for women. Samuel Morse transmits his first telegraph message. The Dominican Republic gains independence from Haiti. The cooperative movement is founded in Rochdale. 1845 AD. The Irish famine begins as the potato crop fails. Henry Newman converts to Catholicism. Sir John Franklin sets out with the Erebus and Terror to find the Northwest Passage. British incursions in the Punjab and Kashmir caused the Anglo-Sikh War. The Sonderbund is formed when 7 Catholic cantons secede from the Confederation in Switzerland. 1846 AD. The Anglo-Sikh War is ended by the Treaty of Lahore. Krakow is annexed by Austria. Louis Napoleon Bonaparte escapes from prison and moves to London. The Treaty of Washington settles the Oregon-Canada border along the 49th parallel. America goes to war with Mexico after failing to purchase New Mexico. After victories at Palo Alto and Resaca de la Palma, New Mexico is annexed by the United States. Peel repeals the Corn Laws, fatally splitting his party and forcing him to resign as Prime Minister. Lord John Russell replaces him. Charles Dickens founds the Daily News. 1847 AD. Mexican troops under Santa Anna are defeated by the Americans at Buena Vista and Cerro Gordo. Liberia is proclaimed an independent republic. The Catholic cantons refuse to dissolve the Sonderbund, precipitating war in Switzerland. 1848 AD. Christian VIII of Denmark dies and is succeeded by his son Frederick III. Gold is discovered in California. The Treaty of Guadalupe, Hidalgo, ends the conflict between America and Mexico, which is forced to yield its lands north of the Rio Grande. Marx and Engels published the Communist Manifesto. Paris erupts in revolt, forcing Louis Philippe to abdicate. The Second French Republic is formed. A workers' revolt is put down, the Juntes, and Louis Napoleon Bonaparte is elected president. The revolution in France inspires a wave of revolts across Europe. Metternich falls in Austria. Milan, Parma, Venice, Hungary and the Czechs revolt against Austrian dominion. Liberals rise across Germany, creating a national assembly. Rome rises against the Papal War, forcing Pope Pius IX to flee to Gaeta. Piedmont declares war on Austria, but after victories at Goito and Pastrenko, is defeated collapses in force and is rejected. Switzerland becomes a federal union. The Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood is founded. 1849 AD. The Sikhs are defeated by the British at Chilianwala and forced to surrender at Rawalpindi. The Punjab is annexed by Britain. A Roman Republic under Mazzini is formed, but French, Austrian, Spanish, Neapolitan, and Tuscan troops capture Rome and restore Pope Pius IX. Radetzky defeats the Piedmontese at Novara. Charles Albert of Piedmont abdicates in favour of his son, Victor Emmanuel II, and the Peace of Milan ends hostilities. The German National Assembly elects Frederick William IV, Emperor of the Germans, but he refuses the title, and the assembly collapses in chaos. Hungary proclaims independence under Kossuth, but Russian troops invade and are victorious at Temeswar. Kossuth flees, and Hungary returns to Austrian rule. Venice submits to the Austrians. 1850 AD. Palmerston blockades Piraeus over the Don Pacifico affair, forcing the Greeks to comply with his wishes, but is censured in Parliament. Prussia and Denmark reach an accord on Schleswig-Holstein by the Treaty of Berlin. Count Camillo Cavour becomes Chief Minister of Piedmont. 1851 AD. Danilo II succeeds Peter II in Montenegro and makes the state a principality. The Great Exhibition is held in Hyde Park. The America's Cup yacht race is first held around the Isle of Wight. The Australian Gold Rush begins. Louis Napoleon Bonaparte stages a coup d'etat in France. 1852 AD. Juan Manuel de Rosa, Argentine dictator, is forced to flee after defeat by insurgents with Uruguayan and Brazilian help at Caceres. The Second Burmese War breaks out between Britain and Burma. Louis Napoleon Bonaparte proclaims the Second Empire, crowning himself Napoleon III. 1853 AD. Pegu is taken by Britain as the Second Burmese War ends. Shogun Ieyasu dies and is succeeded by his son Isada, who opens 2 Japanese ports